So I'm looking on the Discord. A couple weeks ago, I put some money into a little project called Wolf Capital. A little teeny tiny itty bitty bit of money. It was like $73, and they took 10% of that upon stake, which ended up me staking $65. And then I did this. It was a stupid, stupid thing. 'Cause my gut told me, do not go into this project. So I was like, I'll just throw a little bit of money. I'll figure out how it works. But all the red flags were there. I mean, all the red flags. There was such a huge push to bring in new money that that the whole point is you have these wolf packs, these teams, and these teams, you get a bigger reward with the bigger team you have, and the rewards were guaranteed, and then the rewards dropped, and then it wasn't guaranteed, and then they closed up. Then recently it's crickets. They've said you're getting your money on Sunday. Oh, we'll give you your money. We need to move some things around. It's starting to smell like Stable Fund and PGV. And I know I'm going to be hated for saying these things because a lot of YouTubers were shilling this one. And I bought just a tiny bit, just to play it a little bit to see what's going on there. And I never saw a dollar from it. I don't expect to get my money back, unfortunately. And I feel bad for the thousands of people that had millions of $9 or so million locked up in this thing. I hope they get their money back. But this thing stunk from the start, okay? I've seen this way too many times, and they're getting more and more elaborate. And you know what? Maybe the intention of these people wasn't to do this. Maybe they had grandeur, and they just these ideas of grandeur of creating these huge projects that will just the Ponzi will go on and on and on. And they knew dang well from the start it was a Ponzi, but they thought they could grow and build wealth for everyone. And maybe they did, or maybe they just nefariously wanted to rug pull. I don't know, nor do I care. I do care a little bit, but I feel bad for all the people that aped into these things that had the FOMO, like myself. I was like, what is up with this thing? There's no way this is a good project. There's just too much emphasis on bringing new money in, and they can't guarantee. How do you get a 2% guaranteed return or a 1.1% guaranteed return or questionable? The real world doesn't work that way. If someone could do those kind of returns, they'd be extraordinarily skillful. And, Wall Street would be snatching them up to do stuff for them and paying them millions and millions and millions and millions and millions, if not billions of dollars. So I've seen this too many times. I can go through this list. Stable Fund, Optimus, Yield Robot, Rely Fund, Circulate Money, Alpha Capital, PGV, and iBots. I said it, iBots. I had a bad feeling about that one. I learned very little along the way to get me to here that says those AI bot trading protocols have inherent risks to them. The scammers love them because you can't see what's going on with the money unless they have live trades and things like that. But for the most part, the contract allows them to take money out and go put it other places. So just by the very nature of the contract, there's a huge void of Overwatch if they can take all the money out and it's normal. So you don't know what they're doing with that money, right? They say they're trading Forex. Or one of the ones I'm in that I put in my high risk category, Kyopi, says they're trading New York Stock Exchange blue chips, blue chip stocks, the biggest of the biggest. Well, that makes you feel safe. And they show you their trades. And I'm in this project and I talk about it. But I also say it can't be. It doesn't make sense. If I get yesterday or today, I made a 1.89% return on my money. Well, that means that And so I get 1.89% of the Bitcoin that I put in paid back in Bitcoin, but it doesn't make any sense because that means they had every single dollar traded, every single dollar out in the trades to be able to pay me that 1.89%, I think, unless I'm saying this wrong or I'm looking at it wrong. But if that's the case, that is risky. And they haven't had a losing day in its entirety when it started in January. So I have no idea how much money they have locked up. I'm still in this because in the last 2 weeks, I got 20% out. So let me go back a step. So I've been in all these and I'm going to get back to that one in a minute, but I'm in all these projects that have failed. And the one common thing is that they're promising more than they could possibly deliver in a consistent basis. iBots was a little more reasonable, but I still don't like the way they ended. But going back, Stable Fund, 1.5% a day. That's crazy, Optimus, something similar, but then they changed it and then it disappeared. Yield Robot, all these things. You can't guarantee a return. You just can't do it, especially 2% a day, 1% a day. The S&P, if my money manager is successful with my money, they're getting 8 to 10% return a year, right? I did that last week in Keopi. I got 11.32% return. Now, am I certain that that's not some kind of rug play or Ponzi? No, I'm not. It's in the super high risk. I put things in the high risk category, medium risk, and low risk, but all within the high risk category of crypto. Crypto, I don't care what you're doing with crypto. You're in high risk. It's unregulated or very littly regulated. It is full of scams and hacks, and there's lots of good stuff in the crypto world. But if you're in playing crypto properly, you're hedged amongst a lot of different projects, knowing if you get a huge return here, it's going to pay for the returns that you don't get and lose money over here. So you'll even out to a pretty high return, but not as high as that one that got you. For when people talk about how much money they made in crypto, are they telling you also how much money they've lost? So, don't do what I do. I've lost money in tons of projects. I'm still very optimistic about the long term. Now, right now, I have a high, medium, and low risk play inside the crypto space, which is all high risk. So don't mistake what I'm telling you. So that high risk, I like Keopi. It's high risk. I've made 20% in 2 weeks. So that means in another 3 weeks, should be, if it keeps up, 50%. So if I'm in this thing for, what is that? If it's 10% a week, I'm in 10 weeks. That's 100%. In 10 weeks, I get my money back. So I'm taking that money out of there. Every single day I get a return, I'm taking out because that's just a little bit less I can lose. So if I ROI in the right amount of time, if this project lasts, I've been in it for 2 weeks. If it lasts 8 more weeks, I will have ROI'd and got my money back. That's fun. But to me, it's like gambling. There's not much difference than that and going to the casino. Now, my next layer down is green figures right now. And I call them a medium risk because it's still trading still trading crypto, Forex, but they show you the 6 bots and all of their live trades in there. So it looks a little bit more transparent than the other bot plays I've seen in the past. And their returns are about half of what Keopi is. I've averaged about 4.13% a week over the last 6 weeks. That is not bad. That's pretty darn good. And then my low risk play is EasyBot. I take rewards from those other protocols and I put them into the Binance chain or Binance account and use that to trade, regular cryptos with a bot trading software called EasyBot. You can go check my videos out. I've talked about it a lot and it's done very well for me. On average, I'm looking for about a 1% return a week and I've gotten that over the last 6 weeks. I've averaged about 1.1%. If you annualize that, that's a 52% a year return. That's extraordinarily good. Now, past performance isn't indicative of future results. I'm not a financial advisor. You can listen to me all you want, but do things because you're comfortable with the risk. And on risk, that leads me back to trust your gut. So my gut told me Wolf Capital was not a good play. I didn't like it. I didn't trust I guess I did. I only put in $73. And the 10% out made it $65 in there. And to me, that's gone. I'm not getting that money back. If it comes back, okay, great. But I just don't see it happening. I'm already starting to see the signs of the slow pull away, like, the excuses, the dodging. And it's funny because if you say anything negative in a lot of these communities or even ask questions, people jump all over you. And you're thinking, why are they so defensive of the protocol? Well, they might have a lot at stake. It might be their money at stake. They might have convinced their friends to get in there and they think, well, if people start, fudding this project, it'll turn south. I'm going to lose my money. Well, if that's the case, it was a crappy project. So the people that get upset at you, they know the deal. They know what they're in. They're just trying to protect it because their brain says, I want to keep the money. The gut's like, dude, you're in the wrong spot. This is not a good play. But your brain's going to look at facts and data and manipulate it to its own course. And I've been guilty of this myself way back when Stable Fund. It was one of my, I was doing so well in that thing. And, every time anyone asked Michael anything, he'd get all angry at him and yell at him and kick him out and all these things. Well, that's because he knew he's like, I'll just push back with anger so they won't question me. But that didn't stop the questions and it didn't stop the rug pull. And didn't stop a lot of people from not getting their money back. And that is a constant. And look, the rugs have come a long way too. We don't just have a standard, rug and they're gone. There's slow rugs. There's, got hacked rugs. There's, we lost 80% of your money in one trade rug. There's all kinds of rugs out there. I call these rugs. They might not be. I don't have proof of anything other than if it smells like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, if it looks like a duck. Sorry, it's a duck. So we got a lot of ducks out there. I've been party to a lot of ducks. I'm trying to keep my risk regulated. I'm going to be hedging out things. So when I get into a project, I'm going to get in with 500, not 5,000. For me, that's where I'm comfortable. There's other YouTubers and influencers out there that are very comfortable with that. They've done very well, and I respect a lot of these people. But that's just not where I'm at. So $500 a play. If I'm in 20 plays, I lose 3 of them. That's $1,500. And that's probably doable because the rest of the returns hopefully will be covering those losses. But that's how you want to do it. So if I'm going to give you some advice, ask questions. If you're not getting answers, if you're getting pushback on the questions you're getting, there's probably that's a red flag. There's probably a problem. Who's running the project? Are they showing their face? If they're not showing their face and they're not proud of what they got, that's on them. You're going to have to look at that as a high risk gamble. But if they're showing their faces, they're answering the questions, their answers are good. They're not saying, well, we're going to dox and KYC after we get going. And instead they say, we've already done that. Here it is. Or we'll show you proof later. No, why? It's not hard to show proof. If someone won't show proof of trades, that's probably because they're not really doing trades. If you see proof of trades, well, that's a big start. Kiopi, I'm not convinced they're actually doing real trades. To me, you can't put all your money in every single trade every day and not lose more money. It's never happened before. But I believe I can get my money out in time. I got, maybe 10 or 15 more stakes. I think I've done 11. So no, I have 19 more stakes. Hopefully I can get my initial principal out and I will have done well with the project. But I don't know that one's going to go on forever. Green figures, I have a lot of hope in, but who knows? EasyBot, the Binance US could dry up tomorrow and I could lose my money like an FTX. These are all risks that we take. If you don't take any risks, you're not going to have any rewards. You got to take some risks in life. Just make sure they're calculated. You're comfortable with the risk. You're comfortable with the loss. But for love of God, don't fall prey to FOMO and say, oh, everyone online is making money here. Everyone's saying, I got to get into this. I'm going to throw my money at it. I've done this before. I've made these mistakes. I've made them in front of you all. But don't make that mistake. It's easier to lose money than it is to make it. Don't fall prey to FOMO. Trust your gut and your instincts. When your brain's telling you, well, don't worry about those facts. Your gut's like, dude, what is going on? What are you thinking? Really rethink the situation, but trust your gut. That's all I got. This is not financial advice. If you got something out of this, great. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I'll have better videos in the future. I just wanted to let you know that your gut is as important as your brain, especially when there's no real facts and data out there to look at and you're just trusting someone with your money, because that's what happens. That's what we do every day in the DeFi. We say, take good care of my money. I hope you're a steward of my money, when they may or may not be. I do think there's some great people out there in this space, but I also think there's some real con artists out there as well. So trust your gut. In lack of facts and data, trust your gut. If your gut's telling you to run, don't walk, run. All right. That's all I got. Crypto Joe out. Talk to you later.